All right, hello, and welcome to the third edition of The Things We Eat, and I'm with Chef Nick Sutton. We are in July now? This is going to come out in August. We're in August. We were thinking more locally, more seasonal, so Chef's going to take us through a Caprese salad that's done pretty traditionally, and then he's going to take his spin on it. So, Nick, take it away, and hopefully I'll stay out of your way.
All right, great. The first plate that I did was kind of your standard, kind of run-of-the-mill recipe that you would get basically in a normal sit-down restaurant. Caprese salad with some chili mozzarella, just small mozzarella balls, and then just heirloom tomatoes as fresh as you can get. They're great in season in August and September as you get through the summer. And it's just garnished with a little bit of petite greens, arugula, basil, and then it gets a little bit of balsamic on the plate and some extra virgin olive oil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little spin on that plate and kind of bring it to kind of a different level that you might find in restaurants like Moto or Alenia, restaurants that really kind of dabble with that molecular gastronomy. So I'm going to kind of show you something a little bit different. So I'm going to start by plating the dish first, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing is what I did is, you obviously get tomatoes on a Caprese salad, so instead of doing tomatoes, I made a tomato cake, which is actually microwavable. It's literally 4 ingredients.
Cook the cake in the microwave?
Cook the cake right in the microwave. It takes 30 to 40 seconds, and you pop it right out. You kind of tear it to give it more of a rustic look.
So people could actually make this cake at home?
Yes, of course. Yeah, right in your microwave. So then we just put a few pieces on the plate. And then the next thing I'm going to do is...
It's kind of cool. It kind of looks like moon rocks.
Yeah. So the next thing I'll do is, the next obvious one component is mozzarella on a Caprese salad. So the next thing I did was actually just kind of like deconstruct the mozzarella and then turn it into spheres instead of your kind of traditional ball shape. So I'll take a couple of these, place them on the plate.
And so when you make these balls and then you eat it, is it a similar texture to mozzarella, or?
It's actually kind of has almost like a liquid mozzarella, because you put it into a bath made of sodium alginate or algin, and what it does is it actually makes a gel around the mozzarella liquid and it encapsulates it, so you have just a really kind of pure mozzarella flavor. And when you combine the two flavors together, it's like eating Caprese salad, but it's just a little bit different. So it's great because the mozzarella is almost, kind of a liquid form.
So you break it open, it's kind of like a molten cake where the mozzarella oozes out the middle?
A little bit. It won't, I don't know if it'll necessarily ooze, but it will definitely, when you bite into it, it'll kind of like release it, and it'll like basically turn into liquid when you put it in your mouth, so it works out really well. And then just another component, usually traditional, is balsamic vinegar, or some sort of aged balsamic that you put on the plate. So I basically just took some balsamic vinegar and an ingredient called gelin, which I believe is right here.
Those are your shoes, right? Your gel?
Your gel, yeah. So those two ingredients get blended together, and then you can put it into any kind of mold that you want, whether it's a plate or a coffee cup or whatever you want to put in you have at home. And it will literally set up instantaneously when you put it in your refrigerator, and you're left with just very little pieces that you can kind of garnish the plate with. And then just to finish it off, I'm going to put a little bit of micros, which you can actually find at your local Whole Foods or specialty markets. They sell it in the produce section. So it's just kind of a great little different ingredient that you can use instead of using your whole leaves. So I'll put a few of these on there.
And you can usually have these seasonal now, so if you really wanted to use the arugula or the basil, you can find these at Whole Foods now?
Yes, definitely. Any kind of specialty food market, you'll be able to find these ingredients. And then just to finish the plate, I'm going to do a little bit of extra virgin olive oil.
Nice.
And that's basically it. It kind of gives you a little bit of a different twist on the dish. And then what I'm actually going to walk through now is to show you some of the techniques that I did to actually achieve those items. So the first one I'm going to do is the tomato cake or tomato bread, which I mentioned you can actually do in the microwave. All you need is a plastic cup and then the ingredients that I have shown here that you can find on the website. And what I'll do is, it's great with these recipes because everything just goes into a blender. You don't need to worry about starting with one thing and then adding another thing later. You can just add it all at one time, blend it up.
So eggs.
Yeah, that's yeah, liquid eggs, all-purpose flour, and then your tomato powder, which you can find really at any kind of specialty market. You buy it online is where I got it from. It's more of a flaked version, so it has a more intense flavor, and it really kind of brings that tomato flavor through.
And I found this at the Spice House before too. It just comes in a powder form.
Yeah, you can use that as well. So that, and then just to finish with a little bit of simple syrup, it kind of helps cut through some of the, kind of strong tomato flavor you get. So now all I'm going to do is just blend this together. Just takes about 20 seconds. Use a pretty high-powered blender. They just work a lot better. Something you can use to kind of crush ice because they have a tendency to have a little more horsepower, and the blades are usually a little bit better.
Tomato powder gives it like an amazing fragrance. It's like, it smells like a roasted tomato.
So then all I'm going to do is, this is actually a siphon canister. You can actually buy these online. Where I would know to get it from is it's called molecularrecipes.com. You would go there and you can buy these. I think they're about $100 a piece, but they actually work out really well, and you can use them so many different ways with different ingredients. And so I'm going to use this. It's actually a soda siphon. The soda siphon is great because it actually will add a little bit more air into the bread. That's why there's no like baking powder or any sort of leaveners in this recipe, just for the fact that it doesn't need it, because I'm going to charge it with some
Whippets.
Whippets, sure.
CO2.
Use whippets. CO2, yeah.
Not that I would know about that. And so this is the same thing you guys use out in the field to make foams when we're garnishing a dish with foams and things like that?
And they use this when you want to make whipped cream as well.
All right.
It's literally, you would add cream to this, put your lid on, charge it, and then you got whipped cream that you can use for different applications. So then we just put the unit back together, and then the lid goes on.
Just your everyday household tool.
Yeah, every day. It's in your garage probably, where you wouldn't know about it. So then these are the little chargers. You can buy these online as well. You can actually get them at that molecularrecipes.com as well. You get the little lid, you put it inside, and then what happens is it's going to shoot the CO2 right into the ingredient, and it kind of essentially kind of blows it up inside of the canister and makes it really airy, and that's why I mentioned before you don't need any of the sort of leaveners or anything. So you give it a few seconds once you put it on, and then you remove it. And then you
So that just discharges all the gas into there.
discharges the gas into the canister, and that's what aerates the cake or bread. So again, just give it 1 second. Take it off. And then what I'm going to do now is...
because you have eggs in there, it'll hold the air inside the eggs.
Yes.
That's what creates the structure for the cake.
Yeah, the egg is the emulsifier in this recipe, what will kind of bind everything together. The tomatoes adding the flavor, the salt, the simple syrup, those are all flavoring agents. And then the flour is obviously there to kind of marry with the eggs. So then just be careful when you use these, they will kind of come out fairly quickly. This is your standard household paper cup. Make sure it's pretty heavy duty or it'll actually probably melt in the microwave. Make a little score on the bottom of the cup, a little slit to kind of gets a little bit of air in there, and it kind of cooks it from the bottom as well. So then you just shoot it in, go in about a little bit less than half, and what you're left with is basically a aerated foam. And then this is actually going to go into the microwave.
And you don't have to cover it or anything, you just put it in uncovered?
Nope, just like this into the microwave. So I'm just going to start with about 40 seconds.
So while that's going, you want to talk about how you did the mozzarella?
Sure. So for the mozzarella, this is really easy as well. into the blender, we will take your standard fresh mozzarella. These are going to be a little more expensive. You can just use your standard run-of-the-mill, buffalo style mozzarella. And then also the mozzarella water, save the water. You use the two of these, put them together. A little bit of cream. The cream is there to basically just cream it out and help everything come together. A little bit of salt for flavor. And then this is called gluconate, calcium lactate glutamate, or also gluco.
So you keep that right next to the whippets on the shelf in the kitchen?
Right next to the whippets.
Got it.
So you can have everything in one place. And then all you need to do is blend this together. No more than 15 seconds. Just until it's smooth. And then to make it a little bit easier, you can buy these molds pretty much on jbprints.com. You can get them on molecularrecipes.com. Or any kind of like high-end, like a Williams Sonoma, you can buy them, I believe. And you can use any shape you want. I only used kind of the half rounds because it kind of gives the shape of mozzarella, but you can do it in any shape you like. And those are oven safe, freezer safe. You don't need to spray them, they're non-stick. And then I will take that mixture, put it into a squeeze bottle, fill up these molds right up to the top.
And will that just harden on itself, or you have to do something with it?
Right now you will put it into the freezer,
All right.
let it sit for about an hour, maybe two. You can go overnight if you'd like, but as long as it's frozen solid, so then you're just left with that kind of right up to the top. Put it into the freezer. Once it's frozen solid, you will take it and it literally will pop right out. You'll take the little mozzarella that you have and then you put it into the bath made with basically a liter of water and then sodium alginate, or the algin that I have in front here. So this is basically just a seaweed bath. So once you remove it from your frozen mold, you'll pop it right into the water, literally give it about 2 minutes, and it'll form a light
Skin.
gel, a little bit of a skin around the mozzarella, because this would basically melt. If you would just put that on a plate, it would melt away. So you need to put it into the alginate bath, that way it will adhere to itself, it'll make a little bit of a gel on the outside, pop it out, put it right into your plate, and then you'll be good to go. And now, worked too well the first time, but just keep playing with it, and this is basically what you're left with when it's done. It basically comes out of the microwave, and then what you want to do is, I'm going to let this cool, but you'll unmold it, you'll invert it, and you can put it onto like a baking sheet with a rack, and you want to let it cool completely before you tear it. And then at that point, you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to slice it, you can slice it. If you want to just tear it, I feel like the tear adds a little bit more just kind of texture and a little more visual component versus just slicing it. So that's it. And again, you can find all of these ingredients, all the molecular stuff you can find on the website, and everything else you can find in your basic supermarket.
All right, thanks Chef Nick. Thanks everybody out there. Caprese salad, done 2 ways.